So when you found out he was getting married to another woman, how did that make you feel?
Well,
Did it make you feel like turning up to the wedding and trying to steal him away?
I mean, that sounds like quite severe.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Did you put on a nice dress? What'd you wear? And I'll ask you to tell the truth because I've got a photo. Welcome to the Toni and Ryan podcast. My name is Ryan. This is Dr. Author Toni Lodge.
Hello.
We're about to call Cairns, Australia.
Yeah.
Beautiful and warm.
Cairns.
The great
Cairns.
Barrier Reef, is that?
Oh, mate, don't talk to me about geometry.
Yeah, okay. Let's call Molly.
The Molster. I was supposed to be called Molly.
Were you?
Yeah, because my grandma's called Molly.
Oh.
And my mum loved it, but my dad hated it. And so they
Hello.
didn't.
Molly!
Oh my God, hi.
Hello. Now, Toni feels a bit on edge for two reasons. One, she was potentially going to be called Molly. And second of all,
with an IE though, Mole, so a bit different.
Ooh.
But
No, I'm a wife. Sorry, Del.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. It keeps us separate, you know.
And also, Toni has a Frenchie and is a Harry Potter fan, which I believe is your personality, so she feels very threatened.
Yeah. Wow.
I believe I'm a poor man's Toni.
Oh, thanks for saying that. You're the
Sorry.
poor man's version. You must be really
That's
low down because
okay.
I'm also the poor man's version.
Why are you the
Well,
poorer
I'm heavily
version?
tattooed, Harry Potter nerd, former emo child, French bulldog,
Work in radio.
Work in radio.
work in radio. We are the same person.
Molly,
Toni.
can
Why
I
are you
just
the
tell
poor
you something
version?
awesome, though? That you're about to start a podcast and you're going to not be the poor version anymore. If you're just me from the past, you know, great things are coming.
Well, I know what to look forward to.
Yes.
Give me my Audi.
You don't have an 0408 number, though, so that's a bit of a blight on your character. That's okay. That's why she's the poor man's
Is
version.
that why you're the poor man's version? Yeah. You'll get there one day, you poor 0401 bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shame.
Give up now, Mole, I reckon.
Yeah. All right.
I'm done. I'm out.
yeah.
Sorry, guys.
But Molly with a Y, will you approve today's podcast?
Absolutely, I will.
Yay!
Hey, it's Molly from Cairns, and I approve this podcast.
All right, welcome. If you're listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube, excellent to have you in today.
Hello, happy Friday.
And a bit of a cute episode coming up
Cute.
because later on we're all going to have a moment to think about our childhood crush.
Oh.
I'm talking like primary school. You know, I think
Oh.
is there already someone coming to mind or a few
Kind of,
faces? Yeah.
yeah.
So I've got us all something to consider about our childhood crush. So it'll actually be real cute. So we'll do that soon.
Oh, okay, cute.
But first, now this sounds grim at first, but it's
Oh.
not grim. It's great, but it's a rough start.
Is it a little bit spooky? Because Friday 13th is like, ooh, Halloween.
I reckon maybe
Spooktown. Bam, bam.
Toni,
Yes.
you listening, you watching, when your time is up on this planet,
Mm-hmm.
buried or cremated?
It's a great question. I think we've kind of talked about it a little bit before. I think I'd rather be cremated.
Same.
Because I like the idea of like if you buried a little bit but like kept a little bit, you know how you can kind of split
What?
the ashes up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So like you can
I thought you meant they're going to like burn half of you and
No.
bury that half.
Oh,
But you said,
no,
that's what I thought you
sorry.
said. I'm
No,
like,
that's
what?
not what that's too spooky. No, not okay.
It's Friday 13th.
Yeah,
like,
that's
that
what I
is-
meant. Yeah, too spooky. But yeah, you know how you can kind of like bury some, but then like keep a little bit.
Yep.
Like if Torbs wanted a keepsake or you know whatever, I think that's kind of like a nice option.
I'm just paranoid of being buried alive. So I feel like being cremated just takes that option off the table.
Yeah, but you really want to make sure that you'd like definitely.
I'd
dead.
rather be burned to death and then wake up in the coffin and be like,
Hello.
"Ugh."
Yeah, no, that's so freaky. I mean, I don't think that really happens these days anymore.
How would you know?
But yeah,
How would you know?
You don't hear about it, do you?
Well,
yeah,
no, 'cause
that's
we're too far down.
alternative news.
So a Tarpa, a Toni and Ryan listener, unfortunately lost their cousin earlier this year.
that's
which sucks.
awful. We aren't sorry. That sucks.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was an unprecedented third option when you die other than cremated or buried.
Well, we've talked about the Viking funeral before, haven't we?
The Tarpa says, when they were cleaning my cousin's room, they found a bunch of fireworks and figured, oh, he must be really into fireworks. And I kid you not, my family decided to put his ashes into fireworks and shoot him into the fucking sky.
So,
The Tarpa didn't know her cousin that well.
Yeah.
But was like, I didn't think he was like they just found fireworks one day and we're like, oh, I guess he's into that. Like when they were cleaning out his stuff.
Oh, so the cousin didn't actually say, can you please put me into the fireworks?
They cleaned out his room and found fireworks and went, oh, he must like that. He went out with a big fucking bang. I didn't know my cousin that well, and I also don't know the laws of fireworks in New South Wales all that well either. But does anyone else not find this a little bit fucking crazy?
It feels extreme to not know whether that's what they wanted. Do you know what I think if I'd said like I want that and that you then honoured my wish, that's fine. Yeah. But to go, oh, fireworks. Oh, okay. Like if you went through my room, then what do you like? Oh, she wants to go out in a sex toy? I don't know. Oh my
we
God.
cleaned out our stuff and found a sex toy, so we're just going to vibrate her into the next
dimension. Or like what, you go into my house and I've, oh, she had a whole drawer full of socks. We'll just fucking turn her into a sock. Like, I don't think that you can just base people's wishes on what is in their home. Oh, there was some off milk in the fridge. I guess we'll just like curdle her, leave her out in the sun. Like, what the fuck? The firework thing I think I've seen online before. I didn't know if it was actually true or not.
So I've done some digging. There is a company it was like a guy that was into pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
And it's like a business and it's all around Australia and they'll come to your place and they'll blow you to the fucking sky.
And I think that's quite cool if that's what you want.
It's a big if.
It's a really big assumption, isn't it?
Do we have the confidence to say, you know how the number one rule of life is never assume someone's pregnant unless you can physically see the baby coming out of them. And just like
even then, maybe just
shut
help.
the fuck up.
Help.
Yeah.
I saw you pregnant.
Yeah. It's just like,
yeah, she's fucking crowning. Like,
I'm happy to say the number 2 rule of life is
don't assume
someone wants their ashes shot into the sky in fireworks
and blown up
unless they specifically ask for it.
Someone's had to have written that down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not just like when they're wasted, be like, do you know, it would be sick.
Yeah. They need to have written it down during daylight.
Yes.
Sober.
Of sound mind.
Yeah.
And I've written this into a will or like a wish list or something.
The Tarpa says, and she's sort of like, oh, I went for, to support the family because like my mum knew their parents, but she's like, I don't actually know this guy that well, but it was, I went out of respect.
Of course.
She goes, is this not the most bogan way to send someone off? Like, it's got a bit of carnival, yeehaw kind of craziness about it, right?
I'm fucking Natalie Imbruglia.
Yeah.
Because there's part of me that's a bit like, oh, is that a bit shit? But then the other part of me is like, how fun that then it's like, it's bright, it's colourful, everyone's together at night so you can like go and have dinner, have a bev after or something. Like, I actually don't hate it.
Well, fireworks are fun.
Fireworks are fun.
I love fireworks.
Like, and it's a bit of like, it's a bit of an event, a bit different. I hate it less than I think I should.
So, all right, imagine this. By the end of this podcast, we could be pro fireworks.
But like,
we're standing there and then you're looking up to the sky and you go, oh, that's Gary. Like, and you go, there he
goes. Yeah.
Are you smiling? Are you like, that's beautiful? Or are you sad and crying?
My opinion on fireworks is like,
is there a spit roast?
You've seen them once, you've seen them all.
They're they're the French bulldogs of entertainment. But do you not like? If you didn't listen to yesterday's episode, you won't understand that. But go back and listen if you want.
But
it's actually so funny.
That is really funny. But you know what I mean? Like, you go to the Royal Show or whatever, and they do fireworks display every night.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's beautiful, but you kind of go like, oh, well, they drag on, don't they? Like, sometimes you go to a fireworks display and it's like 15 minutes and you're like, oh, well, like, It's beautiful.
Give me 4
but,
minutes.
like,
And this is for many things in life.
no, I actually love what you're about to say.
Give me 4 minutes and give it to me good.
Yeah. And then fuck off. Get out. Let me have a shower.
Finish up. See you later. Have a shower. Make a cup of tea.
I just think that like they drag on a little bit.
They do drag.
However, I think that this is actually quite fun and I hate that I don't hate it. I think that like it's
Are
just a
you willing
nice
to
spin,
say-
isn't it?
Because you're in the last year or so, you have been, I'd say, not experimenting, but embracing color. You've been embracing color. You
I have. I'm not wearing
traditionally-
any color at the moment, but
yeah, which is really hurting my argument.
Yeah.
But in the last year or so, you've gone from just like black jeans, black shirt to, like,
only,
to
yeah.
a bit of color.
Well, actually, yeah, I guess I'm wearing something I would never have normally
Never.
worn this. No.
Is the next step in your transition to a colorful person
Mm-hmm.
committing to the fireworks?
Well, do you know what I think as well is because the fireworks isn't instead of a funeral. It would be
It's a
both,
part
right?
of it, yeah.
Well, because you would do the funeral, obviously, because then like you get cremated like after that.
No, I'm pretty sure you get cremated before that, don't you?
I think you can do either. So like with my mum, God
Yeah.
rest her soul,
Mm.
it was like her. Oh, sorry, I wasn't really ready to say the word body just then,
Yeah.
but
Were
her.
you ready to say the word firework?
She was there.
Dynamite stick?
And then after that, she was cremated. And then we got to go and pick her up
Oh,
like
okay.
privately. So I'm kind of like, because I like the idea of the funeral and the speeches and the food and the activity and whatever. And then it's kind of like, oh, then a week later, do you kind of do the firework and that's a bit nice?
In my
It's like
that
a-
does sound nice.
It's like a different
Yeah.
event.
Because in my mind, it was the funeral and you say nice things and then you all walk outside and
That is nice though, isn't it? But can you imagine? I'm going to say something and I hope that we all kind of go, oh, fireworks at a wedding. Oh,
it's a no from me.
like absolutely not.
No.
So why is that so different?
Well, what's in the fireworks at a wedding if not a dead family member?
Yeah. And that just means nothing. You're throwing money away.
Hey, it's Molly from Cairns, and you're listening to Toni and Ryan.
A massive shout out to a few of our champion tubbers over at our Patreon. Thank you very much for being part of it. It's such a pleasure to have you. We can't do this without you. Renee, good on you, Renee. Nurse Erin, Jackie Rogers, Craig Brown, Empress909. I'm impressed by that. And Moesha van der Peekenhausen.
Van der Peekenhausen.
Yeah. And isn't that just the truth? I've always said that.
I was just having a Van der Peekenhausen at you under the table.
At my Beaverhausen. Sorry.
Tony Lodge, true or false?
Uh-huh.
Did you just go to a website and check prices on fireworks ashes and go, I actually don't hate this for me?
It's true, I did. They don't have any prices. It's up to how many bursts you want or how long. So it says from a few bursts to a 3 to 7 minute firework display. And the cost is dependent on like what you want.
Now, I
but
know
you get to pick the colours, the music, and the location.
what
Isn't that
song
good?
would you choose?
Pump
Because it's fireworks. You kind of want it to be.
it.
I won't put you on the spot because that's an important question to think
That
about.
is a huge
but I would
question.
love for you to. We'll come back and I'd love a little update.
I feel like Torn by Natalie Imbruglia feels like very me, but it's like maybe we could get like a.
Or
Because
you're
did
not
you
sure
know that
about
that's a? I'm Torn. Maybe because did you know that Torn is a cover?
Yeah, I did. know.
But maybe I could get like a DJ friend. Oh, Sophie knows 360. Maybe 360 could do like a remix of Torn and like pump it up a little bit.
You know how you did the music for Mixed Wedding?
Yes, I did do the.
Could you use the cut for that?
No,
No.
unfortunately.
Gay wedding, Tony funeral, kind of a different mix.
Yeah, but also they didn't have Torn. So instantly,
How's their wedding? How's their marriage going?
they're great.
Oh.
Still together. Yeah, they're not.
If-
They haven't torn. Nice.
No, I thought if it hasn't gone well, it's probably because of their poor music.
No,
choices.
the music was fantastic and I cut it all and it was amazing.
I know I've talked about death, but now we get to talk about something fun. Let's move on.
Okay, we're pro death.
What's the opposite of death in terms of events?
Ooh. I think
Question
the,
without notice.
the opposite of a funeral is a wedding.
Yes, that's what I was
100%.
thinking. We are best friends.
Like 100%.
It's the coming together and the new birth of a family kind
Yeah.
of thing.
That's beautiful. But yeah, the opposite of a funeral is a wedding, 100%.
We'll get to wedding chat in a second.
Okay.
Toni, when you were young, and
you
you listening, have a childhood crush?
100%.
And this is even more specific. And I think if we're being honest, we might all say yes. And this is when like probably primary school, like early primary school. I reckon everyone had like a teacher that they just kind of like warmed to a little bit more.
Did they? Yeah.
Did you have one? Did you? Did you have a crush on a teacher when you were in primary school, Toni Lodge?
I did, yeah.
Yeah? I've heard this story about a cute little girl who had a crush on a teacher, and then she realized that teacher was about to get married. Now, Toni, hypothetically, if you heard this...
Should I book the firework guy now?
Hypothetically, would you just go as a 6-year-old, oh, well, I guess I don't get to marry him, all good? Or would you like, turn up to the wedding and try and steal him? What would you do you reckon?
I don't know. I know which one sounds crazy and I know which one happened. So my very, very favourite teacher, Mr. Burridge.
Mr. Burridge, who I've heard about before. Yeah.
I've talked about him before. I think he's in my book as well. I just like he was such a great teacher. He made me feel like so seen and heard, and he was just, I ended up having him like 3 years in a row.
That's right.
So I got to know him really well. He knew my mum and dad, and like because all my brothers and sisters.
Did you love him?
I loved him. I just, because my brothers and sisters are so much older than me.
Yeah.
So like I hung out with like old people
yeah.
But I was like, I grew up with like all my friends and all my sisters and their older friends and stuff. So Mr. Burridge just felt like part of the family.
Right.
And like, yeah, he got along with my family really well. I think he came around for dinner and stuff like that. Like my parents knew him.
So when you found out he was getting married to another woman, how did that make you feel?
Well, I just was like, oh, like.
Did it make you feel like turning up to the wedding and trying to steal him away?
I mean, that sounds like quite severe.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It does sound pretty severe for a 6-year-old to turn up to her teacher's wedding.
Yeah.
Were you invited or did you just turn up?
We were invited to the ceremony.
As
not to the
public.
reception.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I went to his wedding.
Yeah, okay.
Thinking
that's the craziest thing that's going to happen in this story, isn't it? Surely it couldn't get any crazier than that. Wouldn't have thought so.
And like, it's so weird. Like,
did you put on a nice dress? What'd you wear? What did 6-year-old Toni wear to Mr. Burridge's wedding? And I'll ask you to tell the truth because I've got a photo. What did you wear?
I wore what any bride would wear to a wedding. I wore a wedding dress.
I'm holding up a photo of Toni in a wedding dress on that day.
Yeah. My hair's all done and everything.
Which was photos found by Libby, Toni's sister.
Yeah.
Now, where did this wedding dress come from? Did Georgia Young Couture whip this up? Did you have it ready to go? You asked Mum to go get you a wedding dress because I'm going to marry Mr. Burridge on the weekend, maybe try and steal his bride, make a bit of a scene at the wedding.
Just thought the main character in me was like, he's going to realise. So
he's going to see the bride walk down the aisle, then he's going to see Toni and go, What am I doing?
What am I doing? My favorite student, I was such a little teacher's pet that I was like, oh my God, like we could hang out and talk about like English all the time. I'm so good at my times tables. Like, how impressive. Obviously now it was so innocent. Let me just be very clear about that.
So you weren't there to try and break up the marriage?
Okay, no, that part's not innocent. That was nefarious for sure.
Yeah.
So my sister said to me the other day, Libby, she goes like, oh, do you remember you went to Mr. Borwich's wedding? And I was like, oh, yeah, like what a beautiful day. Like so lucky to have been invited. Like it was so fun. Mum drove me there and everything.
Yep.
And this photo has been like done at like an actual fucking photo developer place. She goes, yeah, do you remember what you were wearing? I was like, oh, nah. I had this like blue dress that I really loved and it had like a
deep V.
No, it was like a singlet dress underneath, but over the top it had this like netted dress that was like floral.
Ooh.
And it was like my favorite dress. It was from Pumpkin Patch and I wore it to all fancy events. I was like, I probably wore that dress from Pumpkin Patch and Libby just like threw up and was like, you wore a motherfucking wedding dress to that. And I was like, where did that come from? She was like, I don't know. I don't know if I really don't know.
Describe to me.
Because there's no way I had that.
No.
Like, this has been purchased for the day. Why didn't my mum tell me no? Like, you know
I think that about a lot of things,
at what point is, like, being supportive, like, the wrong choice?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, some kids, like, didn't play sport and lose as a child, and it shows. So, Toni, main character Toni.
Yeah.
Run me through the Hollywood version of, like, because there was a part of you that morning that woke up and went, today could be the day.
Today's it.
Like if everything pans out, like
Yeah.
I could be married to Mr. Borwich by the end of today.
Yeah.
Run me through the Hollywood version of how that would have played out.
I mean, obviously, that is not okay.
In the mind of
But in the
person.
mind of me, I'm thinking that I'm going to rock up there and he's going to see me and be like, oh my gosh, you were an option this whole time. Like, you're the one I'm meant to be with.
Yeah.
And like, again, let me just stress how perfectly innocent this was. I was just a little kid that was like, I love him. We will get married. And then he tells me he's married someone else. I go, what? Are you
Who's this blowing?
Are you serious? Do you know how good I am at my fucking times tables? And
3
then
times 7.
21. Like, don't you want to marry me now? Like, look at that. I know. Anyway, and yeah, I guess I just thought that like I'd be the main character of the day
At someone else's wedding.
at someone else's wedding.
And have you continued to be the main character of the day for every day since?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not at any weddings I've been to. I've only worn a wedding dress to a wedding once. So far.
Most people have as well, but it's their wedding.
Yeah. Well, I'm not married, but I've worn a wedding dress to a wedding once.
Same as Sophie, actually.
Yeah, so same as Sophie, same as your wife, Bridget.
No, but my wife, Bridget, is actually,
Ma.
legal name,
Yeah.
is actually married though.
No, but that's what I'm saying is that like, you know.
So, but Sophie's worn a wedding dress to a wedding but isn't married.
No, that's not true. She just didn't do the paperwork. Fake married.
Yeah. Sophie's just as married to her husband as you are to Mr. Borwich.
How does that feel, Sophie? It's too much. Even for me, that's too much, isn't it?
I'll put this photo in the episode thread so you can check it out and we'll do a little close up on the YouTube. But isn't she adorable though?
I'm just
so beautiful.
I'm like little cutie.
Yeah.
And I just was so happy. And yeah.
Oh no, there's a little bit of you can
Evil
tell
plan?
No, not
little
evil
bit of
plan,
that?
but there's a little bit of like the love of my life could be married to someone else by the end of the day.
Yeah, and doesn't that hurt?
And that does sting.
Yeah.
It's actually wild to get
They're
over that.
still together. They got
Are they?
kids now. Yeah. And good for them.
Is it true that it was the other woman was a parent of like that you went to school with her kid?
Yeah.
So were you jealous that other kid got to go home and Mr. Borwich would be there?
Well, I was like, oh, lucky you. Nah, so it wasn't her mum, it was her older sister.
Oh.
So she, like me, had like way older siblings and he married the girl from school, Caitlin. It's her sister,
cool.
Naomi, yeah.
Besides the fact you're now what do you call them? An old spinster.
I'm not a spinster.
What else do you love to see? If anything. And is it the pricing list on the Ashes to Ashes?
Yeah, I'm going to have to really book in my appointment.
So has today been like a pretty traumatic day? You've been thinking a lot about your death. You're thinking about your husband that wasn't to be. Like, we should just, before we move on, I just wanted to, as a friend, just like check in.
I really appreciate that. I feel okay.
Yeah.
I've got a pretty funny, you love to see it here, from your arch enemy, Charisma, actually.
Charisma Caruso.
Yeah. Charisma's got a little bit of medical comedy here.
I bring up some dark memories and suddenly my arch enemy appears.
Well, I mean, I hate to fight fireworks with fireworks, but here we go.
All right, let's fucking hear it.
No, Charisma says, I've got some medical comedy that just happened.
Great.
As long as a spa counts as medical.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether it does or not, but we're going to take it. Because it's still an instance where you're trying to break the ice.
Yep.
Charisma was finishing up, as she says, a fabulous pedicure. And the lady doing it asked if she could take pictures of my finished toes. And Charisma said, oh, yeah, as long as they don't end up on Wiki Feet. And they both laughed.
That's good, yeah.
That's
yeah,
good,
isn't
that's
good, yeah. Are they on Wiki Feet?
I don't. Are you interested?
No, I just want to out
You interested?
Charisma.
No, I don't know. Don't think so.
Yeah, you're not going to charge for them, are you?
Yeah. Oh, as long as you give me 50-50 commission on the, on me little piggies.
If we did an OnlyFans feet account, is that kind of like a bit okay because our faces aren't in it, but we still get the cash? Or
I
do you not
don't-
earn as much?
No one would pay money to see my feet.
Um,
And I can wholeheartedly say, and that's not me
is
being
that a
humble.
challenge? Is that a challenge?
No. That's not me being like, oh my God, my feet are disgusting. That's me being like, they're not nice. Like, that's fine.
You've got your own Wiki Feet. That doesn't just happen.
But it did happen. You've
Yeah.
got nice feet, and I brought that up with you the other day, and I really regret it. Now you're like, should we think about an OnlyFans?
Should we think about OnlyFans for our
Should I
feet?
put my piggies on the internet? I'm like, oh, I don't know about
Put little
that.
puppies out. My love to see it is also a pitch to Toni and I guess Sophie. We work in the studio here every
As
day.
a team, yeah.
Yeah. I've got some artwork and I want to know if it's okay. I just wanted to get a sign off before I think I want to put it up behind me in the studio here.
Oh, yeah?
Because yesterday, Yaya, who is my mum,
Yes.
and Mabel's Yaya,
Yeah.
which I think means grandma in Greek, and there's not a single mil of Greek blood in any of our persons.
But I love it.
Yeah, but
I
she's
think it's
Yaya.
very sweet. It really suits your mum.
Did you hear her say it yet? Because Mabel goes, Yaya, like she's
Oh.
learned it.
You told me that she could say it, but I haven't heard it.
So yesterday, Yaya came round and they did some artwork, and this is Mabel's first ever piece of art.
Oh my God, that's very
great?
good.
So what they did is they made these little stickers, and then she popped them on. And then also I think with the paint ones, it was like a sponge that she put into the paint and then splotched it on. And then when because you know how we were on Zoom yesterday and I kept getting interrupted by a beautiful young lady called Mabel. But then she came up and to show me what she'd done. And that's her first piece of art.
I would be honoured for that to be hung.
Can that be in the Toni and Ryan studio up the back there?
Absolutely. I'm trying to figure
Do it-
out where we
I
can
might
put
get a
it so
little
it's
frame.
more on display.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a little frame so I can
Sophie,
sit
get
up.
a frame. Why isn't there a frame yet? It's beautiful art, Sophie. You need to sign up.
But my love to see it is Mabel's first piece of art, and isn't it beautiful?
You should make sure that on the back or something you write down
The date.
the date.
Yep.
Yeah. Not who did it. We can probably figure that out. But
No, I'll do a little. I signed her signature on something she drew the other day, and she didn't really get it, but I was like, oh, she signed it.
well, she's an artist.
Yeah, and then she ripped her name, and I was like, oh.
No, that's so
So
sweet.
we'll put that artwork up, and then where do we put this? Where do we put the photo of?
I'm going to put that into the fireworks with me.
Where do we put the photo of Toni in a wedding dress?
Why am I fucking wearing a wedding dress? Like, it's actually so fucking... There's not a lot of stuff I do that I'm like, ew, so cringe. That is embarrassing, actually. Do you reckon they still laugh about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say no.
No.
Do you reckon they actually do that? They go, remember
Is it
that?
fair to say that you're not embarrassed easily, but this is really like
100%. This is like, I cannot. I also, when like a brand
yeah.
does something and you go, God, how many people did that have to get through to still be
Sign off
posted?
on
And you
that?
go, oh, that's like either not that funny or like not that okay.
So when you went to the bridal store in Rolling Stone
Like-
and they go, oh, you're getting married this weekend, you go, yeah, my teacher. And
I
then
go,
even
yeah, I hope so. What did they?
And the dressmaker goes, she's paid already, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, sweetheart.
Okay. I just like how many people had to get between me and that wedding that didn't
No one
say
said
anything.
anything. Yeah.
Like my sister didn't say anything and she probably took the photo. My mum drove me and she didn't say anything. Was my mum wearing a wedding dress as well? Like,
I
do we
reckon-
think it was hilarious?
One of our reels or TikToks or fucking whatever's popped up and she's gone, oh, blah, blah. And Mr. Borich goes, I used to teach young Toni when, because the strange thing is you look exactly the same
I
as
do
you.
actually look exactly the
so
same.
you go, oh, I used to teach her back in grade 2 and 3. Blah. And she go, is that bitch that rocked up to our wedding?
And she's
They
like,
know.
I won. Like, you know, like she's
Yeah.
like, she's still like real proud of her.
Yeah, she's like, oh, how's that going for you, sweetheart? I've still got the man.
And she scrolls on, doesn't even like it.
Yeah. She calls Torbs Plan B. How's Plan
So
B
do
going
I.
for you? She's settled. All right, have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for listening.
Have a great weekend.
If you're on an Apple Podcasts or Spotify, hit the follow button. If
Yep.
you're on YouTube, hit subscribe. It really helps us out on the back end. Don't say back end, and I really appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Love you.
And if anyone's getting married this weekend,
Watch out.
fucking
I might rock up in a wedding dress.
have a look over your shoulder. There's always someone coming for you.